Bryson the trailer guy here.
Listen, I love a good cargo trailer camper conversion, but here's the thing. For every idea that I see that's a good idea, there are at least two more that are poorly done, sometimes to the point of even being dangerous. A lot of people don't even realize that what they're doing is a problem though, because they haven't spent enough time working in and around trailers and learning about how they're built. I've spent years doing just that. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 of the most common mistakes I see people make on these conversions and how you can avoid them. Also, there's a bonus tip at the end. It didn't really fit in the list because it's not a one-time mistake, but it's one that a lot of people make over and over and over again. With that being said, let's jump in. During one of these camper conversions, you're very likely to end up having to take the paneling off at some point, at least some of it. But there's actually multiple ways that you can do this wrong, and I'm not just talking about stripping screws whenever you take them out or something like that. For one, if you don't do it at the right time, it can kind of cause issues with your build. If you already have a lot of your build completed and then realize, oh, I actually wanted to put insulation in, but I've already got my wall done. That's definitely a way that you can do this wrong. But one thing that most people don't realize is that the paneling actually helps to keep your enclosed trailer square. And so a lot of enclosed trailer manufacturers won't even ship a trailer without the paneling being put on. Now, it's probably not a horrible thing if it's just sitting still and for a short time period, but it can be a very big problem if you actually drive the trailer. And so it's something that you want to be careful of. Now, if you're taking my advice, I would probably go one side at a time or something to that effect, just to make sure that you're keeping as much plywood on the trailer actually mounted as possible. That way you protect the square of the trailer. Now, while we have the paneling off though, there are some really cool things you can do with E-Track. The most common one that I see as far as camper conversions go is going to be beds, which is super cool to actually be able to have a bed that is removable or that you can move up and down or, however you want it to work. The thing that I see that people do wrong though is that everybody uses self-tapping screws. They go through the wood and into the metal. The problem is that's not the strongest way of doing this, and it can actually be a little bit dangerous if you're not careful. And the reason for that is the plywood on the inside of your enclosed trailer is not strong enough to hold up anything. Okay, it's super, super thin plywood, and so you don't really want to go through it. Instead, you want to actually have your E-Track flush against the metal that's actually holding the E-Track up. And that way, whenever you're drilling into it, you're getting the maximum connection with that metal. Now, there is one way that I recently discovered that's actually going to be a lot stronger than this without having to weld or anything like that. And so that's to first take off the paneling, as you should do every time anyway. And then you're going to take something like JB Weld or another metal to a metal adhesive that's like super strong, like specifically like an epoxy adhesive. And you're going to put that on the metal studs that actually make up the frame of your trailer. And then you're going to take the self-tappers and bolt it on there. And that way you're going to have the maximum amount of strength and whatnot on there. Now, I did actually have a comment on one of my previous videos that was super good as well. Outfitter 9703 had asked, how do you use a bolt to fasten E-Track to the walls? And truthfully, this was something that in one of my videos I had talked about, and I didn't think it all the way through because it's really difficult to do that, maybe even impossible. But then John Swanson 3741 commented, and by the way, John Swanson, if that's your real name, that is a fantastic name. And if it's not your real name and it's a reference to Ron Swanson, then I love it even more than if it was your real name. It's fantastic. But John said you could drill into the steel frame rails and put rivet nuts and then just screw a bolt into the rivet nut and it'll never pull out, which is a fantastic idea. I'd never thought about that before, and I love that idea. It may even be stronger, it probably is stronger, honestly, than my JB Weld idea. The only downside that I see to the rivet nuts is that it does seem maybe a little bit more labor intensive, but at the same time, if you're going to be using this trailer for years and years and years, labor intensive may be the way to go. One more thing before you put the panels back on, seal everything. Enclosed trailers aren't made to be lived in. That's probably something you already knew. but to be honest, a lot of people don't think about it whenever they're doing these camper conversions. That the fact that there's seams and holes everywhere tends to not even cross a lot of people's minds. And so they forget to seal everything, and it causes drafts, it causes bugs to get in, maybe even mice and other stuff that you don't want in there. And it causes water leakages and all kinds of other stuff. Okay, now you can go ahead and put your panels back on. Your ceiling is a place that you can actually put a lot of really cool stuff, but there are some things to keep in mind if you're gonna do that. For one, anything you hang is going to be swinging around if you don't secure it like super well. So most people think they know this, but then they don't fully account for it and they end up having stuff break, and that just sucks, and I don't want that to happen to you. Number two, anything mounted on the ceiling is going to fall more easily. Again, this is kind of similar to the first point, but at the same time, like, just make sure that you secure everything, even if it's not something that is gonna swing necessarily. If it's lights, if it's whatever, just make sure that you secure it really well, because it's gonna fall a lot more easily when you're bouncing up and down going down the road. And then number three is that roof cross members are not made to hold much weight. I've seen people hang some really heavy stuff from the ceiling of their enclosed trailer, and that's just a bad idea. You're just asking to cave it in or something terrible, unless you have a package that's actually specifically made for, you know, for instance, being able to walk on your roof or something like that. They do make those packages, but they're very expensive. So I'm just gonna assume that you don't, and you should probably just assume, if you don't know one way or the other, that you don't need to be putting a lot of weight on your roof. Definitely lean toward less weight rather than too much weight. One of my favorite camper conversion upgrades is fold down jack porches. I love this. If I had an enclosed trailer, which unfortunately I don't, I would probably go ahead and do this even if it wasn't there for a camper conversion, but they are perfect for camper conversions. There's a couple of issues with them though. For one, these jacks aren't actually designed to be mounted on the door of your enclosed trailer. Even though you can, they're actually made to be mounted underneath the trailer on a pretty good sized surface. And enclosed trailer cross members just aren't very wide. So it's probably okay, but make sure that you've got enough support there. In fact, I would probably suggest putting them in the corners or something to that effect, because if you don't, it could break through a panel, or even worse, if it doesn't have enough support. You may even want to consider taking a panel off and adding some more support in there. But the main thing, again, is just make sure that your jack has plenty of support so that it doesn't move or shift and bust through a panel and cost you a whole bunch of money. Number two, most people just put two on the very ends of the door, and you can get by with this, but you could cause the door to warp eventually, and especially if you've got added height to the trailer, because the longer that door is, the more likely it's gonna warp. So it's not a bad idea to add a couple more, maybe in the middle or something to that effect. That way you make sure to fully support your door and not have it warp in the long term. Now for the bonus, which again isn't just a single mistake, but it's probably the biggest mistake I've seen people make, because most people who are doing these camper conversions are just looking on forums or on YouTube. And some people really do know what they're talking about, and they go through all of the details, and it's great, but a lot of people don't. So you just have to be really careful to make sure you're listening to people who actually know what they're talking about and have experience doing this sort of thing, because there can be a lot of really bad advice out there. Not saying that I've never been wrong about anything, but I do my best to only give advice on this channel that I know has been tested. So make sure to subscribe, and also leave a comment down below if you have any questions. We're building a really great community here where people help out and share knowledge, and it's super awesome. So even if I can't get to your comment, which I'll definitely try to, there's a ton of other super knowledgeable people on here, and it's a great place to get these questions answered and to make sure that you're protecting yourself from really bad advice. And if you're doing a cargo trailer camper conversion, then check out this video with a bunch of DIY upgrades that will take your conversion to the next level. Thanks for watching.